What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cap Show. NFL Week 13 was some crazy games. My Indianapolis Colts, look, the reality is they're done. They're completely washed. They're playing for next year, and I think they need to keep Jeff Saturday. I mean, to just let him go. We continue to make new changes year after year, and I understand trying to build a new program, but I just think for the Colts right now, they lost 54-19. Really terrible. I mean, we look at it and say, look at Matt Ryan. I think we need to bench him. It's over with. Matt Ryan's career is done. He had 2 touchdowns and 3 picks this game. It was embarrassing. I mean, the Colts had 5 turnovers. It's just, you're never going to win, dude. This is the big leagues. This is the NFL. It's never going to happen that way. I just think, looking at it from the Colts perspective, it's not going to happen, dude. It's terrible. Really? Yeah, what are we expecting here? It's so bad. It's hard to watch. It's terrible. And look at Dak Prescott. He balled out. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Tony Pollard, 91 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. And then CeeDee Lamb, 71 yards receiving and a touchdown. I mean, the Cowboys look like they're the best team in the NFL, but they're playing the trash Indianapolis Colts. So, there's nothing special about that. We're playing the Indianapolis Colts. They're terrible, dude. We tied against the Houston Texans, who won 1 game all year. That is insane to me, dude. This is sad. It's a sad story for Indianapolis Colts fans. It's a sad reality that we're never really going to be as good as we were with the great Peyton Manning. Ever since we released Peyton Manning, I think it was back in 2010, I mean, the reality is we're terrible. Why would we do that? Why would we release one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time? I don't understand it. I think Pillhead Jim Irsay needs to look at the drawing board and say, hey, I need to sell the organization. I need to sell the organization to a younger billionaire or to former teammates like Peyton Manning. I feel like Peyton should own part of the Indianapolis Colts, own at least a percentage, but, hats off to the Dallas Cowboys. They got the job done. I can't believe it. I really cannot. Just the way they won, dude. I mean, it was really a close game in the fourth quarter, and they had 5 turnovers. It's just sad, dude. It is really sad, but a huge win by the Dallas Cowboys. I told you guys to go Dallas 10.5. Obviously, they won by dude, it was embarrassing. I don't even want to speak on it, but huge win by the Dallas Cowboys. And then we got the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Atlanta Falcons. Look, Atlanta, they just didn't do enough. Shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin. They got another win, dude. And Kenny Pickett, 197 yards passing and a touchdown. I mean, Najee Harris, 86 yards rushing. And we saw that crazy stiff arm. He threw the defender down. I mean, Pittsburgh, they're rolling right now. And the crazy thing is the Pittsburgh Steelers can win out and really make a change here come later in the season into the playoffs. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are a team to say, hey, they are serious. They're hey, Kenny Pickett is legit. He did start off really slow. He's a rookie, but I think long term he's going to be the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers and really just dominate. And it was a really close game. Marcus Mariota, 167 yards passing, a touchdown and a pick. And then you had Drake London, 95 yards receiving, but it just wasn't enough. Like I said, Pittsburgh Steelers, shout out to Kenny Pickett, getting the job done. Mike Tomlin wins yet another game. Huge win. So big win by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then we had the Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. Look, I picked the Bears. I thought for sure the Bears would win because Green Bay's trash. But little did I find out that, yes, Aaron Rodgers still owns the Chicago Bears. He always beats the Bears. It doesn't matter if it's in Chicago or in Lambeau. It's crazy, dude. Chicago Bears, they're done. They're trash as well, just like I predicted all season. I mean, how many wins do they have? 3 this year? It's just really sad. Justin Fields, 254 yards passing and 2 interceptions, 71 yards rushing and a touchdown. But I just think, for the future for the Bears, you got to build an organization and better players around Justin Fields if you guys want to succeed. If not, it's going to be a long offseason this year for the Chicago Bears, but that's what you're going to have to do. I still believe in Justin Fields. He's young, but you got to surround better players around him. But, shout out to Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers, 182 yards passing and a touchdown. Christian Watson, 48 yards receiving and a touchdown. A.J. Dillon, 93 yards rushing. I mean, Green Bay looked nice, but you're playing against the trash Bears. And I think, looking at Aaron Rodgers, they owe him another $58 million next year unless Aaron Rodgers retires, which I don't think is going to happen. Aaron Rodgers only has 3 more years anyway, so why would he retire and waste all that money? So I think Aaron Rodgers will be back next year. Green Bay, you're playing for next year. I mean, it's sad, really, to even think that, right? You know, we go back to the playoffs when they played against the San Francisco 49ers and blew it there in Lambeau. So it's like, wow. Looking at Aaron Rodgers, it's just like, dude, you know what? What's the next excuse? You know, is it the thumb? What is it? I don't know. I think the whole Green Bay organization needs to hit the reset button right now and do not release Aaron Rodgers, but obviously surround better players with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, giving up Devontae Adams, a top 3 receiver in the league, didn't make any sense at all, but a big win by the Green Bay Packers over the trash Bears. And then we had the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Lions. Look, Detroit Lions, they're on a roll right now. Jared Goff snapped off, dude. 340 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Final score was 40-14. I mean, dude, Jared Goff is looking like a baller. And really, I mean, the Rams probably think, man, maybe we didn't do the right trade. I mean, Matt Stafford, he's been hurt all year, and the Rams are out of the playoffs already, dude. Like, they're washed up as well. Just a fluke year for the Rams. But for the Lions, man, they still have a shot, you know. And St. Brown, 114 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. DeAndre Swift, 62 yards rushing and a touchdown for the Lions. And it was all Lions here. And Jacksonville just didn't have any answers. You know, Trevor Lawrence, he had a touchdown, 179 yards passing. And then Christian Kirk, 104 yards receiving. But it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And obviously the Lions and Jared Goff are on a roll right now. And what's crazy is if the Lions win out, they can get in. They can get in. So I believe in the Detroit Lions, man. That's why I picked them. Huge win by the Detroit Lions. And then we got the New York Jets versus the Minnesota Vikings. I picked Minnesota in this matchup, and I got it right. It went down to the wire. Kirk Cousins, 173 yards passing and a touchdown. Dalvin Cook, 86 yards rushing and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson, a touchdown as well. I mean, Justin Jefferson, probably pound for pound right now, the best receiver in the league. I mean, he's come up with huge catches. He's letting cornerbacks get mossed, so to speak. What Randy Moss used to do is just make DBs look foolish. And that's what Justin Jefferson does. I mean, the talent is there. The work ethic is there. And what a game. And we had Davis with the game-winning interception late, which really kind of sealed the deal. But, you know, Mike White, he still had that fire, 369 yards passing, but he had 2 interceptions, costly. And then Garrett Wilson, who I picked off the waivers, back at like week 9, he had 162 yards receiving. So he balled out as well. But I think Minnesota right now, dude, they're a team to reckon with. Yes, they did get blown out by the Dallas Cowboys, but it happens. Any given Sunday, anything is possible. But the Minnesota Vikings continue to find a way to win. So it's a huge win by the Minnesota Vikings. I can't wait to see them come playoff times. It's going to be very interesting. And then we had the Washington Commanders versus the New York Giants. It ended in a tie, which is crazy. Even though I picked the Washington Commanders at 2.5, ended in a tie, which is crazy, 20-20. Taylor Heinicke, 275 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Terry McLaurin, 105 yards receiving and a touchdown, Indiana boy. And then you had Daniel Jones, 200 yards passing and 1 touchdown with 71 yards rushing. And then you had Saquon Barkley, 63 yards of rushing and a touchdown. But it was a crazy game, back and forth, and they fought their way back and tied it up. And it's kind of rare we see in the NFL that games end in ties, right? I mean, if you guys would have bet on a tie game, you'd be getting so much money. Huge bet, huge come up. But I didn't see it coming. I thought it was going to be super close, maybe even an overtime game, but not a tie. But huge on both sides. But, you know, we just, like I said, it's rare to see an overtime game. And then we had got the Tennessee Titans versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Probably my worst pick all weekend. I picked the Titans with the upset. Should have never done that. You know, I've always said the Titans all have like the easiest schedule, and then what happens? You know, it just, they lose in the first round of the playoffs. That's what happens with the Tennessee Titans. So, you know, I should have never picked against Philly. Philly's legit. They're the best team in the NFL for a reason, and it starts with their quarterback, Jalen Hurts. 380 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. And then A.J. Brown snapped off, 119 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Went crazy. And Derrick Henry only had 11 carries for 30 yards. Ryan Tannehill, 141 yards passing and a touchdown. But the Titans look terrible. I mean, you're going against the best team in the league, dude. And the Philadelphia Eagles continue to find a way to win. I mean, even in Indy, when they came to Indy, they played terrible, but they find a way to win. And that's what you do. Super Bowl winning champions, they find a way to win no matter what the circumstance is. So a huge win by the Philadelphia Eagles. And then we had the Baltimore Ravens versus the Denver Broncos. The Baltimore Ravens, sad news, Lamar Jackson went out in this game with a knee injury, and that's terrible news. But the good news on the flip side is it's not a season-ending injury, and he probably will be out this week, but probably come back by week like 15. But, I mean, they need Lamar. Without Lamar, the Baltimore Ravens will not do anything, dude. Really, I mean, they surrounded their whole squad for Lamar. So Lamar should not go this offseason. He should sign a max deal. That's what he should do. But, shout out to Tyler, Tyler Huntley, 187 yards passing and one interception. The backup quarterback came in and balled out. He also had 41 yards rushing and a touchdown. And Russell Wilson, to me, for Denver, I cannot believe it, dude. He looks terrible right now. I'm not putting all the blame on Russ, but I'm looking at Russ and saying, how, dude? How are you doing this? You got Tyler Huntley balling out, but yet Russell Wilson just 189 yards. That's it? I don't know. I think Russell Wilson, this is one of the most, surprises all year in this NFL season in 2022 where it's like, I did not see Russell Wilson doing this poor, dude. This is terrible. I cannot believe it, man, but huge win by the Baltimore Ravens. They needed that, but first and foremost, they need Lamar back. Without Lamar, the Ravens aren't doing anything in the playoffs, so please heal up Lamar so they can have some hope. And then we got the Cleveland Browns beating the Houston Texans. Look, for the Cleveland Browns, you did have Deshaun Watson come back, which is crazy, right? 131 yards passing and a touchdown, and he did receive a lot of boos. I mean, we have to understand that 24 women came out and said something to deal with sexual assault. I don't know what happened, but here in America, you can buy justice. If you have enough money to do it, you can do it. You can get the best lawyers. You can get the best everything and buy your way out of things. I'm not saying Deshaun Watson's guilty. I'm just saying money talks here in America and bullshit walks. So, I don't know what the whole situation is. I think Deshaun just wanted a quick nut and a happy ending. But, the Browns got the job done. And Nick Chubb, 80 yards rushing. The Houston Texans, they're trash, dude. Kyle Allen over 200 yards passing with 2 picks and 1 touchdown. But the Cleveland Browns roll. And to me, Deshaun Watson, I don't know, man. I don't know how the NFL is going to handle this situation or if new news comes out with this allegations and all this shit. But, hey, the Cleveland Browns won. Big win against the Houston Texans, who only won 1 game all year. Complete garbage. And then we got the Seattle Seahawks versus the LA Rams, which was a great classic game. The Seattle Seahawks battled back, and shout out to Geno Smith, throwing the game-winning touchdown to DK Metcalf for the game. Geno Smith, 367 yards passing and 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Nobody's talking about Geno. I think Geno Smith right now has really been a well-rounded quarterback, probably the best well-rounded quarterback this year in 2022. I mean, nobody's talking about Geno Smith. I don't know why. He's a beast, dude. And then Tyler Lockett, 128 yards receiving and a touchdown. I just think for Seattle right now, they are definitely a playoff team. Kenneth Walker did go out in the first half, which is sad with the high ankle sprain, but he will be back eventually. And I think, Seattle and Pete Carroll, they have something going. They will be ready for the playoffs. I cannot wait to see what happens there, but a huge win, and the Rams are done. They're done. Bye-bye, Rams. You guys just won the Super Bowl this past year, then all of a sudden you're missing it the very next season. Crazy to me. And then we got the Miami Dolphins versus the San Francisco 49ers. I picked the 49ers. Look, Jimmy G's out with a broken foot. Brock Purdy, man, a 7th-round draft pick, came in and honestly balled out. 210 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick. And a lot of people are writing him off. I think, it's going to be a better fit than Jimmy G. I just think Jimmy G this year was just, as he always has been, is just an average quarterback at best. He's the type of quarterback to do some good things but not win you a Super Bowl, or a big playoff game, or not make a big mistake but not really do anything great. That's what Jimmy G is. So I think for Brock Purdy right here, this is a golden opportunity. You're a 7th-round draft pick, fresh in the league. I think this is great, man. And I think that, the San Francisco 49ers, their defense is legit. And I think, with McCaffrey, Debo, those guys, I mean, the 49ers are geeked about this, man. Obviously, they're not geeked about Jimmy G getting hurt. I hope Jimmy G gets back and healthy. But I think for Brock Purdy, I think more upside than Jimmy G by far. And then you got McCaffrey, like I said, 1 touchdown, 66 yards rushing, 80 yards receiving. And then Tua really did not have a good game. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Tyreek Hill, 146 yards receiving and a touchdown, but it just wasn't enough. And I think Tua did not have a good game. He just did not play well, made some mistakes here and there. But I think the San Francisco 49ers are legit, dude. They're a legit team. There's somebody could really run deep into the playoffs, even into the Super Bowl. I think Brock Purdy is the key factor here. I think he's a better quarterback than Jimmy G. I've seen him play at Iowa State. He's a baller, so I can't wait to see what the San Francisco 49ers do, but a huge win by the 49ers. And then we got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Probably the best game all weekend, dude. This was a crazy game. Kansas City ended up losing 27-24. So ironic, right? Just like the AFC Championship game. I just think, man, looking back, it's just like, man, Patrick Mahomes has only really battled, bad beats was against Joe Burrow and Tom Brady. And that's about it. He's taken a lot of losses. But I think really what made the mistake was Travis Kelce fumbling in the fourth quarter. That really cost him there. Patrick Mahomes, 223 yards and a touchdown. Joe Burrow, 286 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase is back in the lineup, 97 yards receiving. Shout out to Chris Evans, a touchdown, the running back for Cincinnati. Out of Indiana, Ben Davis, shout out to Chris Evans. But I think, the Bengals right now, they're rolling. They're probably a top 5 team in the NFL, no doubt about it. I'd even put them at 3 right now. I just think Joe Burrow, they got that mojo back. They got Jamar Chase back. And I'm telling you what, the Bengals, they could make another Super Bowl run here and win it. I wouldn't even put it past them. But, the big threat is definitely Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes. I just think, a couple mistakes from Kansas City, or else they would have won this game pretty, by like 10 points, I think, or maybe even 3. But I thought, Kansas City was going to win. But like I said, the Travis Kelce fumble did not help. But a huge win by the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow. They continue to roll on. And then we got the Las Vegas Raiders beating the LA Chargers. I went Chargers on this pick. I thought for sure, Justin Herbert he did ball out. I just think the Chargers defense is definitely terrible, dude. I mean, Justin Herbert, 335 yards passing and a touchdown. Keenan Allen, 88 yards receiving and a touchdown. But Derek Carr, 2 touchdowns, 250 yards passing. And Devontae Adams, 100, dude. Devontae Adams snapped off, dude. 177 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns, man. I'm telling you what right now. Devontae Adams, I just think looking at Green Bay right now, why would they release Devontae Adams? That makes no sense to me. Why would you? Why would you do that? It's just, I don't understand it, dude. You got to be smarter than that. I don't get it, dude, at all. And I think, I kind of feel for Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay right now saying, why? That's my number 1 target. This is one of the best receivers in the league, and you guys are going to release him to the Las Vegas Raiders? It makes no sense. And then Josh Jacobs snapped off, dude. He went crazy, 144 yards rushing and a touchdown. He just balled out, man. He went crazy at all. And then, I think the Raiders, they do have a slight chance of making it in. Absolutely, which is kind of crazy, right? To think, man, the Raiders were just like only 3 wins, dude, like a couple weeks ago. Now they're climbing their way back. They're fighting their way back. And it's just that never give up mentality. And that's what it is. So I think looking at the Raiders, they're a team to be like, oh, man, if they went out and have a couple their dice roll their way, they could really do it. So I wouldn't put it past them at all. So a huge win by them. But let me go back to the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. I think, if Lamar Jackson does not, come back 100% come playoff time, that's it for the Ravens. Their year is over with. John Harbaugh is going to have to figure something out. I just think, with Coach Harbaugh understanding, hey, I did surround this whole organization around Lamar. And it was Lamar. That was my main guy. Why would I, try to release him, or why would Lamar want to go somewhere else? So I think Lamar Jackson should not go anywhere else, dude. That would be so ignorant. That'd be stupid to do that. And I think Lamar understands that. It's just unfortunate that Lamar got hurt. It ended up getting hurt, I think, this time around last year as well with an ankle injury, or maybe that was 2 years ago. But I just think for Lamar, man, giving up, $180 million, turning that down was huge to me. If I'm looking at Lamar and I'm saying $180 million deal on the line here, Lamar's telling me that he's worth over $400 to $500 million. That's what that's telling me, right? I mean, if you're going to give up that, dude, it's just like, hold up, come on. I just think, well, what's going on here? Are you serious with this shit? Like, crazy to me, but, it is what it is there. But I just think, Lamar, he's got to get healthy. But like I said, my Indianapolis Colts, they're done. They are complete garbage. Their season is over. It's kind of sad in a way. But what are my X-Factor teams to really run deep in the playoffs this year? Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals are definitely a couple of them as well, to really run deep in the playoffs. But I just think, with the NFL handling the Deshaun Watson situation, it's just one of them things where it's like I'm not trying to cap, even though my name's Cap. I don't know, dude. I think they could have mishandled this. I don't know. Like, a lot of women came out and said these type of things, so I don't know. It's kind of sad in a way to think about it, but, it is what it is at that point. I just hope justice is served here. Like I said, here in America, you can buy justice, and that's kind of unfortunate as well. But, like I said, money talks and bullshit walks. But another X Factor team as well is definitely the Minnesota Vikings. And obviously everybody's fan favorite right now, the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. I just think, for the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, it's one of them things where Josh Allen has a lot of turnovers. And there are weaknesses in Buffalo right now where it's like, what are you guys going to do to overcome this? Well, how are you going to, win a Super Bowl? You're going to have to beat Kansas City. You're going to have to beat Cincinnati. You're going to have to do something a little different. And I think that starts with the Buffalo Bills defense and Von Miller. Is he going to come back from that injury? Who knows? I think if Von Miller's out, that's it. It's over with. It's over with. So I just think, looking at the bigger picture there, they're going to have to have some changes in that lineup, or just really just get better. Get better. I really think Josh Allen can get better in certain situations, even like sliding, dude. You cannot take big hits there. You can't. And I think, the big hits are going to add up. And I even said that about Cam Newton back in the day, where when Cam first came into the league, he would kind of play the same way as Josh Allen. Just kind of like a running back, try to hit you real hard and play with no fear, which is good. But those hits start to add up. We look at quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers, for example. He slides. Russell Wilson, even though he's washed up right now and complete garbage, he slides. He typically slides. So, it is what it is. But, and then first and foremost, the Monday Night Football game, what a freaking game it was. I mean, Tom Brady, the GOAT, led him back to a victory, which seemed like, hey, it's over with. That's going to be it. It's done. It's done for. But no, the GOAT came back. They were down 16-3. They came back in the fourth, rallied back, won it 16-17. And I love it, dude. And that's what you need from the GOAT. Tom Brady, you could say what you want about him, but yes, he's playing terrible right now. And I just think, it is what it is at that point. But Tom Brady really is the GOAT. Down 16-3, coming back, and that's what he does. And Tom Brady this game had 281 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. It was awesome. Chris Godwin, 8 receptions for 63 yards. And then you had, Andy Dalton, he balled out as well, 225 yards passing and a touchdown, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough because why? The GOAT, Tom Brady, dude. I'm telling you, you cannot write him off. And what's going to be interesting come playoff time, yes, they are 6-6. Yes, they are leading their division because it's really trash. But at the end of the day, whoever plays Tampa Bay, let's say Philadelphia ends up playing Tampa Bay. They don't want to do that. You want to play against Tom Brady and the GOAT? You are crazy right now. So the GOAT is back, baby. Shout out to Tom Brady getting the dub 16-17 on Monday Night Football. It's the Clown with Cam show. Let's go!